They can bring it all up when they want to. The other point that Tice makes is that when he was in the government, in NSA, in 2003, 2004, 2005, he had in his hands the full surveillance capability, surveillance action, phone calls of staff, home and office of Feinstein and Pelosi and Colin Powell, Secretary of State of the Secretary of State, and Justice Alito, which he held in his hands. Every Supreme Court justice being individually targeted, every member of the intelligence community being in intelligence committees being individually targeted, the people who control the budget and who are supposedly our oversight. Every journalist, every source, every news agency. These are things we don't yet have the documents on. We may, I hope, will get them. Should they be telling these under oath, such things to Feinstein is useless, but let's say to Wyden, Senator Wyden, Senator Udall, Russ Holt, for example, and should Mark Klein at last be able to talk to them directly? Yes, these are people who are already critical and who need every bit of information they can get, and they have not heard from these people inside NSA. So that's one thing, and Pelosi too, let's see. That's one thing we can demand that they do, that they open their ears, however strong their need not to know, so they can have denial plausibility. Oh, I didn't know this was happening. Make them accountable and responsible for what they're doing. Finally, a big thing that's brought between Bradley Manning and me, or Snowden and me, pardon me, is the motives. Are they whistleblowers? Well, of course they are whistleblowers. Are they traitors? Of course they are not traitors any more than I am, and I'm not. It's nice to hear that whistleblower is no longer synonymous with traitor as it was in my day, but it's become a good thing that you have to fight about who is a whistleblower or not. But even beyond that, did they do it the right way? And I noticed that even David Combs, Manning's lawyer, in getting rid of this lethal blow to the Fourth Amendment, aiding the enemy simply by going on the internet that can be read by whatever enemies we have, that would be the end of investigative journalism. Absolutely. Right there, to add a capital punishment sanction, life in prison without parole or death, for every journalism who prints stuff that's classified from a source on the internet. That would close off investigative journalism right there. But the fact is that the prosecutions and the accusations themselves are extremely more than chilling. We're on the way to the death of democracy. We're not there yet. We don't have a police state, or I wouldn't be here. I would hope for you, all of us, be in detention at this point. That could easily be in our future. And after one more 9/11, for example, or a war with Iran, the lists that they've composed just by the metadata alone of our associations can put us all in camps very quickly, like the Japanese in World War II. But there is something yet to combat. We're not there yet. And for once, the attention of the American public has been achieved by the drama, in part, of Snowden's own resistance, his own ability to resist the attempts of the government to silence him and put him where Manning is. Now, Combs' lawyer, speaking to a military judge, had to sort of apologize for Manning and say he believed this, yes, he believed that, but understand he was young and naive. Now, what is it that he was naive about? And Combs is explicit. He was concerned about the people we were killing and torturing in Iraq. Innocent people that he knew were innocent. He was concerned. He cared. And Combs said, isn't that nice that a young person should have such a concern? Of course, we, know better than that. And he felt that he could make a difference. He felt that a better world was possible and that he could perhaps contribute to that. He felt that the U.S. could change, possibly. Well, obviously, this is all naive, but, not in itself evil intentioned. Well, I looked at that and I said, well, wait a minute. I'm naive in all those ways. That's my life here. And moreover, I think we're in a very bad course here. Not just America, but humans. When you look at climate and you look at the continuing possibility for nuclear winter that can extinguish our civilization with the weapons that Obama is leaving on alert right now and in Russia. We're in a very bad way. As Gorbachev said to his wife at one point, things can't go on like this. I would say it's naive, the conventional wisdom, which Combs was alluding to, which is the opposite of all those things, our sophisticated, experienced, mature, older beliefs that, Tina, there is no alternative. Things are, if not the best of all possible worlds, the least bad of all possible worlds. We're the good guys, or if not always the good guys, the least bad guys compared to everybody. Individuals cannot make any change, so don't even think about it. A better world, a different world is not possible. So get with the project, go with it, get your salary, etc., and obey the leaders, take them for granted, and so forth. I think that way lies catastrophe. Now they point to the fact that Snowden is in a country that has less free press than we do, Russia at the moment. He didn't choose to be there. He's there because they took away his passport and forced down a plane that might have taken him to Ecuador. But he is in Russia. Is that as free as the U.S.? No, it isn't. And neither is China. He didn't go to China, he went to Hong Kong. But even so, China and Russia are less free than the United States. Is a different world possible? Yes. A worse world is very possible, and that's the way we're headed. In fact, without a Snowden, without a Manning, I think I would have no hope, frankly. I wouldn't have the heart to stand in front of you and say, here's how we get to a better world and so forth. I wouldn't see what the hope is. But the response to Snowden has showed me that there is some leverage here. There is a possibility to use our remaining democracy and see that we don't lose the rest. I have made a point of seeking out other whistleblowers over the last 20 years, and I admire them all, and I feel a family connection with all of them. The three people I identify with very strongly, like two others, Snowden and Manning, and I'm often linked with them, and there's a reason for that. The fact is we were all facing lifetime sentences. Snowden not yet, but he will, and possible assassination in his case. So what I see are two other people like myself who are willing to risk their lives, life in prison, or even assassination. They both mentioned that as a real possibility, and they're right, in order to keep this country from becoming like Russia or China. And to do that, they have to be in a country that can stand up to the U.S. and not hand them over to torture and incommunicado. And Russia turns out to be a place like that. Venezuela would be better, Ecuador, Bolivia would be better, but we won't let them get there. It's up to us to see whether we achieve what they have each said was their highest hope. Informed discussion, investigation by Congress, and that cannot be by Feinstein's Intelligence Committee or the Intelligence Committees. They are totally co-opted. They are totally instruments of the intelligence community and secrecy. Can it be other members in Congress? Well, there were 205 the other day who voted against their own party's leadership, Republican and Democrat. The majority of Democrats voted against Nancy Pelosi's arm twisting on this issue. So for the first time, there is something to work with, and there is something that is worth your lives to try to hold on to and regain the democracy that we have with all its flaws and limitations. We can do better than the way our leaders are taking us, and Manning and Snowden are holding up the model. Thank you.